This week I'm driving the 2022 Infiniti Qx55 Sensory all-wheel drive. For 2022, Infiniti added a new model to their SUV lineup, the Qx55. It's just in between the Qx60 and the Qx50. So basically it's a Qx50 coupe, so it's a coupe SUV. So it brings back some memories from the FX models from back in the day. So a brand new model for 2022. This model is going to compete against models like the BMW X4 or the Mercedes-Benz GLC coupe. Design-wise, we've got an aggressive front end with a big grille in the front, as you can see, with a big, massive, Infiniti logo. You can really notice it's an Infiniti. We've got some decent wheels. The shape is really coupe, as you can see here. Big difference with the Qx50. So it's a really nice shape going down. Here it's all round, nicely wrapped in the back with some nice tail light, and once again some big Infiniti logos. Trunk wise, as usual, because this is a coupe SUV, we have to make a little sacrifice on the cargo space, but it's not a big deal with the Qx55 compared to other models we drove previously. Decent amount of space here, so even if it's a coupe, it's still decent. Stepping in the back, as usual, it's a coupe SUV, so if you're tall like me, you have to watch for your head while entering in the back. Just like that, smooth motion of the head, and I don't fit. My head is really touching. A decent amount of space for my legs, but it's not even like touching. It's really, I can almost touch it with my ear. So yeah, if you're tall, it's not the best to buy a Qx55 if you're gonna expect to sit in the back. Under the hood, we can find a 4-cylinder, 2-liter turbo, good for 268 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds of torque. This engine is matched to a CVT transmission. We call that engine a VC turbo. So what exactly is a VC turbo engine? Basically, the compression of the cylinders, the piston will change depending on how we're gonna drive the Qx55. So if we're driving in kind of like eco mode, it's gonna have a eco compression, and if we drive in performance mode or performance style, we're gonna have some performance compression. To put it in simple words for you guys. So I'm gonna go on the road, see exactly how this VC turbo behave. On the road with the Qx55 this week. It's a brand new SUV. We have to compete against SUVs from big German brands like BMW and all that. We can even consider maybe the Genesis GV70. These are like big name plates. They're making their place on the market right now. And the Qx55's got a weird mix of parts, I could say. That's really what it is. Driving it on the road, pretty comfortable. The suspension is a good mix of comfort and handling. We've got some good seats also, so the ride is pretty comfortable, similar to a Nissan Murano or even the Qx50. Also, you get a great all-wheel drive. This week while I was testing this Infiniti, I had a little bit more grip with this Qx55 than compared to the other car I was testing this week at the same time, the Mustang Mach-E GT. Off the line, the all-wheel drive from the Infiniti was doing a better job, and that's, from my point of view, it's impressive. Performance-wise, you can do the 0 to 100 kilometers in about 6.4 seconds. It's okay off the line. The way this engine behaves, it's kind of weird because it changes compression. And from my point of view, it's not the best match for an SUV. It feels like it's a high performance engine from a sport car for kind of like let's say a Nissan Z, but base, not without the V6. You know, a more affordable Nissan Z would be a great match with that engine. That's what I think of. It's pretty much, it's noisy from the front end, not from the exhaust, so that's not always a plus. It likes to rev. It's a weird match with the CVT, so it's kind of noisy, plus the CVT, when you're really pushing it, it keeps that gear up in the RPM band. You know, it removes a little bit of the luxury feel of this SUV. I think a V6 3.5 liter from Nissan Infiniti would have been a better match for this SUV. It would be quieter, same kind of performance or even better. And I don't think it will be a big, you know, a big difference for the fuel economy from my point of view. Interior wise, it doesn't feel like we're inside of a 2022 products. Everything feels like it was made pretty much 4 or 5 years ago. You know, we have the old school cluster in front of me, and nothing is digital like we can find in a BMW. I'm not going to talk about those two screens. They're pretty old, and they do the job of a old screen, I could say. Far away from anything you can find who's been redesigned and all that in 2022. The map, the screen, the buttons and all that, it's just so old school. Even the cameras are so like really low resolution quality. Nothing is HD. We don't have a place to recharge our phone wirelessly. You know, that's the thing with this QX55. We've got some, you know, the rest of the design looks good. You know, the seats are comfortable once again. Also, they're a nice finish, red and black and all that. But once again, it feels like all this design, all this technology was new 5 years ago. So that's the thing with the QX55. We've got a great design on the exterior. I think this coupe SUV looks great. We've got a fancy, cool new engine inside of it. But there's always something that's gonna, you know, doesn't really match the new stuff. So cool engine, CVT transmission, you know, okay interior, but really old school technology. You know, it feels like, you know, they've been using what they could have. They just put a lot of, you know, old school technology, old school parts inside of this QX55. It really feels like, you know, this QX55 was missing some budget during the development and all of that. And, you know, it's no surprise, you know, Infiniti is not in great shape right now. That's why we've got all those old school stuff. They're not bad, you know, they're not bad quality, you know, parts or, you know, technology. They're just old, that's it. Fuel economy wise, this week I was averaging about 10 liters per 100 kilometers. It's winter time, I'm on winter tires, and I was kind of heavy on the pedal this week because this engine likes to rev, you know. I'm sure you can do better than that, around 9 to 9.5 liter, especially if you're not in some winter condition driving, just like I'm driving right now. So, you know, it's pretty decent, you know, a mix of good performance with good fuel economy. So with also a good all-wheel drive system. So these numbers are quite, you know, normal for the shape of this SUV. Because this SUV, it's, you know, we've got a pretty small engine, and there's also a CVT. Towing with it, it's not recommended by Infiniti. Even if there's a place to hook up something in the back, these are made for a sport rack, they call it, so you can put up to 300 pounds of payload on this. But no towing, so if you're expecting to tow something with your QX55, it's not recommended. Price-wise, the QX55 start just over 54,000 Canadian. And the model I'm driving is a little bit over 63,000 Canadian. So at first glance, you know, I thought because this QX55 had a lot of old school stuff, old school technology, it will be cheaper on price. but I've been looking online at the base price of the X4 and the Mercedes-Benz and all that. They're all starting about the same price. I know it gets pretty pricey when you're adding more feature to the German, models, but still, I think price is not a big factor. You're not gonna go more for the Infiniti because it's cheaper. Maybe they have better deal, once you're inside of the dealership compared to the German dealership. But price-wise, it's not a big factor. Yes, probably for the same specs, same option and all that, the Infiniti will be probably cheaper, but once again, those features are pretty much really old school, so it's not really worth it. So overall, cool design, cool engine, great all-wheel drive system, but from my point of view, because there's so many, old school stuff, old school technology, I'm not really impressed with the QX55. Obviously, on any day, I would choose the German products over the Infiniti. I wish, Infiniti will bring something a little bit better, but because, there's so much little stuff inside of these Infinitis. They're cool, bring a cool engine, but it will be cool with a cool transmission, all those little things. I think overall, they need more budget and more technology, more effort into their cars to make them great and make them, equal to be able to compete against the BMWs, the Mercedes-Benz and all that, even the Genesis brand. They're just a little bit behind, they just need to crank up a little bit more technology and the new stuff inside of it, and they're gonna be able to really compete with those brands. So let me know in the comments what you think about this QX55. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my video. And we're gonna see each other on the next review.